Welcome back to the It Girl Mindset. I'm so happy and grateful that you are here. Today we are talking about 11 tips to deepen your relationship with yourself and your body. I've been on this journey of unconditional love with myself, and I think so often it's so easy to love yourself when you feel good in your body, when you feel confident in your own skin, when your skin is perfect, when all of these, when your career is thriving. It's so easy to love those parts of yourself. But can you love yourself when there are parts that you are more shadowed and they're not quote unquote perfect? Can you love those parts of you too? Welcome to the It Girl Mindset, where I help you step into the next level version of yourself by mastering your mindset, manifesting your deepest desires, and connecting deeply with your body. It's about becoming the most authentic, radiant, unapologetic, and unbothered version of yourself. Together, we're going to chat about how to unlock your true potential and create a life that feels as good as it looks. If you're ready to become the healthiest, hottest, and most abundant version of yourself, you're in the perfect place. Let's get into it. That is where all of this stemmed from, but that takes me into my first point, which is notice when you're loving yourself unconditionally and when you're not. Because like I said, it's so easy to love yourself when you have the perfect skin, when you have the perfect body, when you have the perfect boyfriend, career, whatever it may be. It's so much easier to be like, wow, I love myself. This is so great. But how do you talk to yourself when, maybe you're going through hard emotion, maybe someone's mad at you, maybe you are seeing this reoccurring pattern that you don't like about yourself? How can you love yourself in those moments, okay? And when you shift to conditional love, because no one wants to be loved conditionally. Oh, I love you if you do this, you want to be loved unconditionally. And I'm not saying I'm perfect at this. Like I said, the reason this is coming up for me is because I truly am trying to learn to love all parts of myself. I'm even a shadow work course that, goes to those parts of you that you're afraid to look at. So it's so important for you to look at those times and just notice, when are you being really hard on yourself? When are you truly loving yourself? And like I said, for me, I noticed I was really good at loving myself when everything seemed quote unquote perfect, but it was so much more of a struggle for me when I did not feel like something wasn't perfect. So even right now, my skin is breaking out. Not great right now. It's not looking too, my skin, I can't even get through it, see? My skin is breaking out a little bit, and the past version of me would have just been so hard on myself. And I've even caught myself saying, oh my gosh, like my skin hates me right now. It's like, is it your skin or is it you? Okay. Because everything's a mirror, as you know, but loving yourself when you're not feeling perfect. Okay. So I've been looking at myself in the mirror. If I see my skin flare up, I'm like, I love you. You're beautiful. I love you. I accept you. You're worthy. Anything that I need to hear, I look directly in the mirror, in my eyeballs, and I tell myself what I need to hear. Number 2 is to take yourself on a date. I used to be so afraid to do things by myself. I never wanted to be alone. Even when I was little, I struggled to even want to call to order pizza by myself or anything like that. Like I was just afraid of being alone. When you are alone, you learn so much about yourself, and taking yourself on a date, you're not only going to just spend some time with yourself, but you're also going to see what comes up for you. Maybe you're like, what kind of limiting beliefs are coming up for you when you are by yourself? Even for me, last weekend, I went to a restaurant with my boyfriend and his family, and I'm not drinking, but it was like this brewery. And so there were a lot of younger kids there, not younger kids, but drinking age, 20s, 30s, it seemed like. And so I actually went in to put our name in, and the family was standing outside. And Eric was outside. Some people hadn't even come there, but Eric's parents were there kind of outside. But I went in there and I was feeling super uncomfortable. I was like, oh my gosh, all these people around me are so pretty. I feel so unworthy. And so when you're alone, especially in environments, I'm not saying you need to go to a restaurant or a brewery or whatever, but just being by yourself, you're going to have so many things come up for you. And don't go on a date by yourself and listen to a podcast, okay? Go be with yourself and see what comes up for you. 1, you can either clear limiting beliefs that come up. 2, you're just going to learn so much about yourself. And 3, if you get used to and become comfortable being alone and going on dates with yourself, you're going to just enjoy your own company so much more that you see your own value and you become your own best friend and your own biggest cheerleader, and it will truly, truly strengthen the bond with yourself and just self-love in general. Tip number 3 is to regulate your nervous system. This is mind and body in one. We are either in a stressed out state or we are in a calm and relaxed state. Our body only has two. I'm going to keep it very simple for this tip because this could be a whole podcast episode on its own. Our body lives in 2 states, rest and digest or fight or flight. And obviously, rest and digest is like the peace, calm. Fight or flight is the, oh my God, I'm getting chased by a bear. What's going on? When you learn to regulate your nervous system, one, your life will just change drastically, but you feel so connected to your mind and body feel connected as one. Because when we are go, 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 oh my gosh, and we're in this fight or flight state, our body thinks a bear is chasing us. Our body isn't like, oh, like I'm stressed out about work or someone's upset with me or like we're late for something. Our body only knows the 2 options of fight or flight or rest and digest. So our body is like freaking out. It's like, oh my gosh, a bear's chasing me, blah, blah, blah. But when you learn to regulate your nervous system, 1, you just understand your body so much more. And 2, you are so much more calm and relaxed. Okay? So how do you regulate your nervous system? What you can do is set up a protocol. What you can do is even just starting off with 3 times in a day, maybe it's like 11, 2, and 5 p.m. You put silent alarms on your phone. Don't put actual alarms that go off, or that's not going to put you in a very relaxed state. And all you have to do is every single time you see those silent alarms go off, you're going to do something to regulate yourself. And regulating protocols can be anything that makes you feel calm, okay? So for me, it's like, okay, going out for a little 5-minute, even 10-minute walk, doing a little meditation, going and putting my face in the sun, hugging my dog, hugging my boyfriend. Huge regulator for me. That's like co-regulating. But you also, if you I don't have the time, taking a big deep breath in and just, again, grounding and calming yourself, even if you don't have 5 or 10 minutes and you have 30 seconds or even 5 seconds, all you have to do is notice. It could be like, am I in fight or flight or am I in rest and digest? Oh, okay, I'm feeling a little bit anxious right now. So that way you can regulate yourself. And the more you do it, the more grounded and present you will be in your life, the more your body will be able to handle stress. It is truly, truly life-changing. You will feel so connected. Your mind and body will feel as one and not disconnected. It's so, so powerful. Number 4 is to connect with your body while you're doing movement. So many of us are just on autopilot, which again kind of goes back to nervous system regulation. When you're dysregulated, you're doing things on autopilot. You're living in your subconscious mind. Your conscious mind is nowhere to be found. But if you are grounded and you're intentional with your workouts, you can truly, truly tune in, use mind to muscle connection, and be so connected to your body. So for example, let's just say you're doing a Pilates class. You can follow along and just be like doing the motions, whatever they're doing, or you can really feel each muscle working. You can be like, okay, right now we're doing some sort of bicep, so I'm really gonna focus on my bicep muscles right now and feeling them and working them, making sure my body's in alignment. Another thing too, so again, that mind to muscle connection. Another thing that you can do too is try a different kind of workout. If you are used to doing the same exercises, the same types of workouts every single day, try something new. You will have to be more conscious with it, because if you're like, oh, great, another bicep curl, I'm used to that, done it a million times, do something different so your brain has to work a little bit and you're actually having to think a little bit more consciously during that time to have that mind-muscle connection. Number 5 is notice triggers. And this is about yourself and your body. Like I said in the beginning, everything is a mirror. If you are triggered by something, you're making that mean something about you. Example, I'll even use a body example. Someone would be like, oh my gosh, you're so muscular. And you take that as, oh, you think I'm fat. When they're saying oh my gosh, you're so lean and strong, okay? We interpret the world with our limiting beliefs, our fears. It's our own perception of the world. So when you are triggered by something, you're making it mean something about yourself. Maybe someone says, wow, you are so strong. And you're like, oh my gosh, like they think I have big muscles. They think I'm fat. Rather than, no, you actually are so lean and strong. Like you could be on completely different wavelengths. I've used this other example in the past, but someone could be like, oh, you just don't take life seriously. And to you, you could interpret that as, oh my gosh, I can't believe they would say that to me. Like I am productive. Like if you're defensive in any way and or triggered, that means a part of you feels like it's true. Someone could say you're beautiful, and depending on how you feel about yourself, you either think, oh, they're lying to me, they're just saying that to make me feel better, or you're like, oh yeah, thank you so much, that's so sweet of you. Okay, see the difference there? But same with your body, and I know I use that muscular example. I remember people used to always tell me I have muscular legs, and it would be triggering for me because I always thought I had fat legs and I hated it, and it really was something that I was self-conscious about. And then later, when I started to accept myself, love my body, love my legs, if someone said, oh, you have such muscular legs now, I'd be like, thank you. Like, thank you so much. Okay. You see the difference here? Your triggers are just little signals in your brain. Oh, I need to heal something there. I need to work through something here. Okay. Number 6 is to connect with your intuition. You probably knew this is coming. I talk about your intuition in every single podcast episode and every single video. When you form a connection with your intuition, I feel like life just feels easier. And this is not just mindset, this is mind-body connection, okay? Your intuition is that gut feeling. You get a physical feeling from your intuition, okay? So if you form a connection with your intuition, you are going to be able to make decisions with such trust. You're going to have this, again, mind-body connection. You're going to be able to have a more trust with yourself to make decisions, to decide what you want to do, to go in the direction that you want to make decisions, to show up for yourself, okay? Intuition is this guiding force that is going to help you be able to figure out the direction of your life, and your desires are your directions, and the intuition is the compass to that. You will learn so much about yourself and what you want and who you are when you form a connection with your intuition. How do you do that? I do have podcast episodes that you can kind of go back and listen to specifically on intuition, but one thing I'm just going to say is to create space. We have so much stimulation in this world. You need to create space for yourself to actually have those intuitive pings come. You're in the shower. All of a sudden, these intuitive pings, something just comes to your brain and you're like, wow, that's such a good idea. That's an intuitive ping. It's because you don't have the distraction of social media here, like Instagram, TikTok, someone texting you. Like there's constant stimulation always. So highly recommend creating space for yourself, whether that's doing a meditation, going on a walk with no headphones. And when you regulate your nervous system, it's so much easier to be able to connect with your intuition because you are not stressed out and like having a million things going on in your brain. You're able to stay calm and peaceful, okay? So me regulating my nervous system has had a direct correlation to the strength of my intuition, okay? So connecting to your intuition will help you on so many levels. Like a couple of examples of what I use my intuition for: how I eat, how I move my body. Every single day I literally have a meditation in the morning that I connect with my intuition. I'm either like connecting with my higher self or however you want to view it. And I ask myself, like, what do I need to do for my body today? I also am like, if there's a big decision, like investing in a program, I ask my intuition, I ask my body during that time period too, okay? It is so powerful. You can ask it anything. And your body, you get a physical sensation. For me, it's a yes. If I ask like, I'm going to drink coffee today, which I literally never ask that because I don't want the answer to be no, which I know I probably should, but I don't. I'll get yeses is like a tingly feeling up here for me. And then if it's a no, I get like this gut feeling. So even if I do a little meditation and I ask my intuition, like, I'm going to invest in this program, and I get this like gut feeling that's like, no. I know that that's not the right fit for me, or not right now, or whatever it may be. And learning to trust that is the most powerful tool. And I'm not going to go on any more of a tangent because I talk about this a lot in podcast episodes, but I have one strictly on intuition not too long ago. So you should check that out if you want more information on that. Number 7 is try new things. Figure out what you like. figure out what lights you up, okay? I think so many, and I don't know if this is just women, and again, this is my own perspective. This might not be truth everywhere, but this is my own truth from what I have seen, is I feel like a lot of women are sometimes afraid to try new activities like, wakeboarding, wake surfing, stuff like that, because they're afraid they're gonna look silly if they're bad at it or whatever it may be. But when you try new things, you figure out what you actually like, okay? I can't even explain to you how much I love wakeboarding, wake surfing, snowboarding, but if I was afraid to try them, which actually I kind of have a different story because my dad and brother forced me at a young age to do all of these different activities, whether I liked it or not. So I do feel grateful for that because now I'm at a level where it's so fun to go. And I know learning new things at an older age can be more challenging mentally. And so I get it. But on the other side of that, you find hobbies that light you up. And it doesn't have to be anything like wakeboarding, snowboarding, any of that, even though you totally should try because it's so freaking fun. It's the most fun thing in the whole entire world. But maybe go to a pottery class, join a book club, try new things until you figure out things that you actually like. Because if you just stay in your little bubble so small and afraid of, and just wanting to stay stuck, you're never going to learn about who you are. And when you learn about who you are, you deepen the connection with yourself. Even for me in college, all I wanted to do was drink. I didn't care about hobbies. I think I went snowboarding one time in my 4.5 years of college, But then after, I kind of had to reconnect with myself and relearn myself. So I started snowboarding. I started even now golfing. This is a new thing that my family has kind of wanted me to get in. Well, not my whole family. My dad, my brother, stepdad have wanted me to get in for so long. And I was resisting for so long. And then I tried again recently. I'm like, wow, this is actually so fun. Okay, so try new things. Also, as a side note, if you're I have no idea where to start, go back, think about your childhood and think about the activities that you like to do, whether that was coloring. Even for me recently, what's coming to light for me is fashion designing is what I used to love. I used to do it as a kid. I had all these little notebooks and stuff that I would design clothes. And not that I'm going to go become a fashion designer, but I just realized I like dressing up. I like making fun, putting fun outfits together. So I'm going to do more of that. And it has been fun for me to dress up and feel a little bit more cute and whatever. So again, if you're I have no idea where to even start, take a look at your childhood and just see what you liked to do when you were younger. Number 8 is to take note of what feels good to your body food-wise and what doesn't. In your little notes app, put a food, nourishing food or something like that. And then maybe food that doesn't make me feel good. Don't say good, bad. We don't want to associate good and bad with food, or else it can create some other emotional triggers around there. So what you want to do is nourishing food that doesn't make me feel good, okay? And just because you are labeling food that doesn't make you feel good doesn't mean you don't ever get to eat it again, okay? It's not about restricting yourself. It's just about honoring your body and figuring out what actually feels good and what doesn't, okay? So maybe you eat, a cookie and you're like, oh my gosh, this didn't make me feel good. And then you write down, okay, cookie with dairy, no bueno. And then you eat this gluten-free cookie and you're like, wow, that didn't affect me at all. And you're like, okay, maybe it was the gluten in the other cookie that actually upset me, not the dairy. And then you try some dairy and you're like, okay, dairy actually doesn't bother my stomach at all. Okay. Or maybe it's whatever, ground beef. I had a client one time who told me ground beef, this is kind of a little tangent, but a client told me that ground beef didn't feel good to her. She always got stomach ache after, and it just didn't feel good to her at all. And there's this other thing. How you feel about the food is equally as important as the food that you're putting in your body, okay? Our mind is so powerful, and we can trick ourselves into thinking that a food doesn't make us feel good. Also, as a side note, if you wanted to, go because sometimes we need tangible evidence as well. I know sometimes it can be challenging, which thing in the food actually was not making me feel good. Go take a food sensitivity test, okay, if you can. But again, I would even encourage you to start doing it through your intuition and start doing a notepad first so you can just start to notice. You're going to feel so much more connected to your body when you start to notice oh, this made me feel good. Oh, this didn't. Oh, this made me feel good. Oh, this didn't, okay? And again, I'm not saying on the foods that don't make you feel good, it's like you're never going to eat them again because you 100% can, but you just know, okay, this isn't going to make me feel very good, but fuck it, I'm going to eat it anyways. That's totally fine. Number 9 is meditate and breath work. This kind of goes back again to regulating your nervous system, but being able to spend and figuring out things that you actually enjoy, spending time with yourself, creating space. Meditation and breathwork is so freaking powerful. The breathwork sessions I have done are a little bit more guided, but usually during that guided meditation, it's a personal experience still, and it's so freaking mind-blowing and powerful. It's insane. But I highly recommend adding in some sort of meditation to feel more connected to yourself and your body. I feel like meditation or even EFT tapping, which you're kind of tapping on different points of your body while you're saying affirmations, that's almost even more of a mind-body connection. So either meditating or doing EFT tapping or breath work are all amazing ways to deepen your relationship with yourself and your body. Number 10 is to notice emotions in your body. We actually store emotions in our body. Even trauma is stored in our body for up to 7 generations, okay? So just notice sensations in your body. When you go to maybe hang out with someone, maybe you get this gut feeling and you're like, that's so weird. What does that mean? Just notice it and question it and just start to see patterns, okay? So even for me, when I first got my personal training certificate, before I became a health and fitness coach, as you know, that was my previous job, I had this gut feeling in my chest, like this just gut feeling, and it wouldn't go away. And it wasn't about my personal training certificate. It was because I was still working a corporate job, and it was so painful for me my body was like physically like, no, we are meant to help people with health and fitness. Like, we are not supposed to be doing this corporate job. Like, and literally that gut feeling didn't go away until I decided I was going to quit my corporate job and try to go full time with my health and fitness business, which obviously I did, and it worked out, which is great. But all of this to say, your body is always trying to tell you something. So listen, okay? Even again, like acne, that's a sign that there's something going on internally. Your body is always trying to tell you something. Even like our periods, okay? Our periods are literally a report card for your body and your health. If something is off with your period, something is going on in your body. You're not supposed to have painful periods. You're not supposed to have acne. You're not supposed to have cramps. Like, those are all signs that something internally is not in alignment, and you need to figure out what that is, okay? That kind of took a tangent of what I thought that actually meant, but I think that also, honestly, is so powerful. So just like listening to your body. Your body is always trying to tell you something, whether that is emotions, whether that is intuition, whether that is physical symptoms. Listen and see what it means. Number 11 is self-care. Oh, okay. I cannot stress this enough, okay? I think so often, let's just say, kind of bringing this full circle, going back to that first point I made about only loving yourself conditionally and not unconditionally, when you are kind of in this being hard on yourself or negative about yourself, rather than being negative, asking yourself, okay, what can I do to make myself feel better? This isn't just like self-care when you feel good, but self-care when you need it, when you need to kind of flip the script and become your own best friend, and needing that, needing that comfort. Maybe you're seeking it from other people or food. Give it to yourself through self-care, okay? Take a bath, go for a walk, journal it out, okay? Do what you need to do to feel good. And the biggest piece of advice I can do this is, if you are in a negative thought spiral or anything like that, just ask yourself, okay, what can I do to make myself feel better? Sometimes, most times, you always need to feel the emotion first. If you just try to suppress it, it's never going to go away. It's just going to keep popping back up in other ways. But if you can, just ask yourself, what do I need to do to feel better right now? How can I make you feel better, Ashley? What do I need in this moment? What can I do to make myself feel better, okay? Because when you learn to love yourself unconditionally, that's when you have true full self-acceptance, okay? And that's what the goal is, okay? We want to be loved unconditionally, and we have to start with ourselves first, okay? So self-care is such a great way, especially when you're maybe in a negative spiral or an anxious spiral, to tune in and take that as a chance to be like, okay, what is going on first? What is this emotion I'm feeling? What am I making this mean about myself? And what can I do to make myself feel better? Self-care is just going to deepen your relationship with yourself because you're putting yourself first. Okay. And self-care is not only like taking bubble baths and reading books. It's like saying no to things, setting boundaries, putting yourself above all. Okay. Being selfish. That's truly, truly what true self-care is when you put yourself first because you deserve it. Okay. Okay, you guys, I hope you loved this episode. If you know anyone that needs to hear this episode, please share it with them or share it with your story and tag me. Or even if you want to send me a personal message with any aha moments or anything you learned about yourself during this episode, I would absolutely love to hear it. You can DM me on Instagram at Ashley Roberts or feel free to leave a comment here on YouTube. I love you guys so much, and I will catch you on the next episode.